All right, welcome to the Please Remain Calm podcast. I am Ben Gonzalez.
And I am Daniel Gonzalez.
And we've got our guests coming on here right away. We'll get them right on. The boys are in the studio. We have John Opalski and Sergio Acosta. Say what's up, dudes.
Hey. What's going on?
Yes, sir. Good to have these guys on. Good to have these guys right on from the bat because it also gives us that cool 4-screen cut on our video on YouTube,
square.
You know what I'm saying? Or it's like we're like a band, like we harmonize. Dun, 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 yeah.
Testing.
Look down up at each other. Yeah.
I can pretend like I'm looking at John right now.
Hello.
That's what I'm saying. It's fucking. It's cool. All right. It's a lot of fun. Also, what's cool is that we've had firefighters come on, guys that work with Danny or worked with our dad. These are guys who work with me. These are other MAT guys. Yeah. Right. And it's probably the only time we're ever gonna have other MAT guys on the show. All right, so they can kind of verify because I try to kind of explain.
I still don't even know 100% what the fuck you do.
That's what I'm saying.
I tell you, he works at the Mac, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Like
they think he works at the Apple store.
Like you know what you use us for, and that's pretty much how it is. It's like we're like a weird entity that nobody knows that we exist except the people that need us. And when we explain what we do, you're like, oh yeah, I guess somebody has to do that.
Right.
I guess that is important. If you don't have that, then those people are gonna die. So it makes sense. But the only people that know of us are the people that have to use us.
Right. Like from my perspective, just the couple times I've had to use Mac, the main one was a bus into a train.
Oh, yeah.
And we had like 30 patients.
Yeah. Downtown.
You know, and I called the Mac number, you know, and somebody.
Talk to me. I remember working that.
Was it you?
Yep.
Oh shit, dude.
Yeah, that's right.
And downtown's like 30 patients.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he gave me all the hospitals in the area. You know, I had to tell him like who was around me and stuff like that. And then they tell you, you know, how many immediates, how many delayeds, you know, how many criticals each hospital can pick, and then that helps me kind of dictate and dole out where patients going to get transported and stuff like that.
Spreading the love.
Keep track of where everybody goes. Nobody gets
It's
lost.
awesome. It's like a
Everybody can
reunion.
find
We
their
got a hug later.
Yeah.
right? Yeah, like Dr. Phil.
I remember that day.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother episode.
Change your podcast.
But it's like, you'll use us for that. The ERs will have no idea that we do that, and they think that all we do is just get emergency patients out of there that they can't help.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's our other thing is
Right.
ERs will call us and say, oh, shit, this guy's got his brain's bleeding. We have no surgeons. We need you to find somebody.
Yeah.
And then we
So
do
they
that
think
then.
that we only do neurosurgery cases.
Exactly.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
ER doctors.
But then there's also just all this other
Clinics.
like random shit. Like we help scuba divers. We're the Diver Alert Network.
Yeah.
Also,
Oh, no
we,
shit.
Yeah, we run the hyperbaric chamber for Catalina.
Oh, I didn't
So
know
like
that.
if you go down scuba diving in Catalina, we'll actually get a helicopter to go pick up a doctor from USC and fly that doctor to Catalina and save your ass in the chamber that they have over there.
Yeah.
And then we get them to fly you both back. We help find missing persons. The police will call us.
No
like
shit.
Or when they're looking for arson suspects.
Yep.
Or things like that.
No shit.
Yeah, they'll
I
ask
didn't
for
know you guys did all
specific
that. That's
injuries,
crazy.
all that shit. There's just all this.
And it's mainly because we're just
Random
this
stuff.
central communication center for a large network of health systems.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we do a lot of
Kind
regulation.
of the hub.
advice. Yeah.
So
we
that's
have
the
this
other
availability
thing.
to be connected to so many different resources.
And since we're 24/7,
Yeah.
we're like a catch-all. So if they need us to do something, they're like, okay, we have these guys that are trained. We can show them what to do, and they'll just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's basically it. So the other weird thing about that,
I got a whole lot of
it's fucking-
respect
it's a trip.
now.
Like
Whole new respect for you guys.
This
Jesus.
is the other weird thing though is we can never close.
Yeah.
Like never ever. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So if our building like catches fire or there's an earthquake or something,
Yeah.
we have a full-on empty backup office down the street.
Yeah.
And so we have to go and occupy that office and get everything started. We can operate out of there, right?
They do that
And
with
it's mobile too. We can.
Yeah. Then if something happens
Yeah.
to that office, both offices go down. We have a semi truck, and the back of it is a mobile office in the trailer of the truck, and we can drive that truck to safety and then set up
crazy.
operations, have radios, and everything is there again.
It's like Mad Max in it.
It's like Get Smart, dude.
Fucking LA
Dude,
County,
it's like Get Smart. There's like different badges you got to use to get to our door. Like nobody knows we're there.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird, dude. And then it's like you get all the heaviest shit in the county laid on you every day
Yeah.
because you're the people that have to take care of the worst shit, right?
Yeah.
Whatever the worst disaster is, whoever's the most fucked, you know who it is.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're helping them or whatever.
Yeah.
And they never know that you existed. You know what I mean? So if
Man.
they live or anything, they had no idea that you got played a part in it. There was like one other comic who had his dad was a Mac transfer.
No
and
way.
he didn't know. And I don't remember how it came up in conversation, but he was like at Whittier Press or something,
Yeah.
and we got him into Harbor, and they saved him.
Huh.
And he's alive and well now.
Yeah.
And I'll see him like in pictures, like he'll post, as we follow each other on Instagram, me and that dude. and they'll post pictures of his dad's birthday, and I just kind of remember like, oh shit, yeah, that was the guy that we saved before. You know what I mean? And like he has
crazy,
no
man.
fucking idea.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's weird. It's like it's a weird place to work.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It
Yeah.
is.
It changes every day. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. like if you're starting there, you kind of can't tell a new person what you're gonna really be doing because it's kind of like overwhelming.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
just the hospital transfer part,
Is
you
over
have to
enough.
learn
Yeah.
about like every specialty basically, because you have to sit in on every conference call between all these doctors, and you have to know what you're telling them before they talk.
And coming in as like a medic or a corpsman beforehand, you think you have enough knowledge when you get there, but
Yeah.
then you're like, what fracture did you just
There's a
explain to me?
whole
Like,
other
I have no
world
idea, like,
after someone's in a hospital of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
shit that they do to them and what happens to them. Like, whoa, and like it
coilings
takes.
and
Yeah,
all the
dude.
neurosurgery like lingo that you learn.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you're really getting into like intricate doctor diagnoses and surgeries that you would never hear about otherwise.
And then after a while, you start just knowing them before the doctor knows them. So like you know what to ask right away.
Right.
In some cases, you're kind of almost doing like consults on your own.
Right.
And again, let me say this. This is a good time to.
So
drop
you're a
this.
doctor, basically. Is what you're saying.
This
Listen to all your advice.
Yeah.
Your letters.
the
can be
Everything
opinions,
else.
the opinions expressed on this show are solely ours and not those of the City of Los Angeles, County of Los Angeles, LAFD, or the Los Angeles County Department of Health Services. That being said, yeah, sometimes you do so many of the same
That
calls.
being
like,
said,
you
yeah,
know
I'm
what
a
they're gonna
fucking
say.
doctor.
I could
Any other country,
I
I'd
could
be a doctor
impersonate
right
a
now.
doctor
Bend over, come
probably.
here.
I could probably do it right up until having to like cut people open. You know what I'm saying? Like you know everything your wife
Yeah.
just studied for. Yeah, I do that.
That's most
I've been in doing it. Now,
Right,
yeah, right? Yeah.
They
yeah.
do everything.
Um,
They'll cut him open and you
I'm a
get him
dick.
out of here.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to do that.
So then there was another thing though to bring up with these guys being here, and that's 5 years ago. They fucking pranked me really fucking hard, and I never got to confront them on that shit. All right, man. This is an ambush interview, Serge. All right, I'm gonna tell you right now, dude. Lebowski Fest. All right, you know Big Lebowski?
Yeah.
All right, so they have Lebowski Fest
I remember this.
every year. They have like a few a year. They watch the Big Lebowski, the film, the Coen Brothers film, if you guys aren't familiar.
Fantastic festival.
And they'll have like the film is themed around bowling, so they'll have like a bowling party, and people dress up as the characters from the movie. Have you watched Big Lebowski?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you know what I'm talking about then,
The
right?
Iron Lung
so,
shows up.
so you can
How dare
see,
you, sir.
So you can see how there could be a Lebowski Fest,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So they have Lebowski Fest. It's gonna be the bowling party in Fountain Valley at this bowling alley, right? So we all make plans. Fuck, we all love it. We're gonna go. We're going to Big Lebowski Fest. We're gonna go bowling.
My
We're all
dad
gonna
was
dress
there.
up as characters, right? Yeah. His parents are in town. His dad's gonna come bowl with us. We never
My
met
last
his
name's
dad.
Opalski, so he
Yeah.
was the big Opalski
Yeah,
that
Big
night.
Lebowski. Yeah, right. Yeah. So you know we're thinking of our costumes, right? And I'm trying to think like I don't want to be the dude.
You can be a
I don't be
ferret.
Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to like dig in the crates, right?
Yeah.
So I'm Foo, the guy that pisses on the rug, right?
That's right.
I got a tank top. It's tucked in. My jeans are high waisted, right? I got my hair so it looks like as much of a mullet as I can make it into, and I'm ready. I'm in Lebowski mode,
Yeah.
and I show up,
Yeah.
and these fuckers are wearing their regular clothes, fool.
Yeah.
The
Regular.
whole everybody else
Got
there got me,
Yep.
got me hard, dude. And then on top of that, John's dad. I don't know how old is your dad?
He's 78 now. Back then he was
78.
probably like 74.
He handed our
73.
asses to us.
Oh yeah.
Bowling,
My
bro.
dad can bowl.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah,
we look like dicks, dude. Like what were
Yeah.
we doing out there, even, dude?
He's a Pollock.
You know what I mean, bro?
He's a Pollock from the 50s.
Serving
Did
dude.
he kick his
He did it with Winnie.
Oh, yeah.
foot on the back
Yeah.
like that? Yeah.
Yeah,
This whole
and,
fucking,
and his dad is like a super like classy old white dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he paints and
Yeah.
everything, dude. Like
Yeah.
like you know, there's like nothing. Like he's like Teflon, right?
Yeah.
And yeah. So he's just like just
He's super
strike,
calm.
strike,
like my dad.
strike. Oh,
Yeah.
so you know.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, dude. And I'm in here in a fucking tank top like an idiot. You know what I mean?
Sweaty.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, but oh my god, it was a fucking mess. All right,
funny, man.
so that's not the only reason why they're here. Obviously, John and Sergio. Okay, to work where we work at the MAC, you have to have been a paramedic, an RN, or a military corpsman. And John and Sergio were both military corpsmen.
Navy corpsman.
Navy
Navy
corpsman.
corpsman.
Yeah. So yeah, get specific, all right? I wasn't in the chair force.
Right.
Yeah. There's one dude at work that's from the Air Force, and yeah, like our boss is an Army guy. He calls it chair force all the time. Yeah, fucking chair force. You never
Dude,
did
it's so
shit. You never
funny
did shit.
Sit down. Do
the
nothing.
back and
Dismiss
forth
someone's
between the
sacrifice.
branches, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So these guys are Navy corpsmen. They were John. You were in Iraq and Afghanistan, or just Iraq?
Just Iraq. Yeah.
Just Iraq and Serge.
Afghanistan.
They both had different jobs, so let's let them go in a little background on what they were doing, and then specific tales.
First of all, what's a corpsman?
Corpsman. Well, corpsman is it's a pretty special job. They're the medical side of the Marine Corps. When you're a corpsman, you get assigned to a Marine Corps unit. I was assigned to an infantry unit. My first 2 years, I was in a hospital, wiping ass, doing all that fun stuff. And then after you go into sea duty, and you have your choice of either going to a ship, the Marines, or Seabees. So, I applied to the Seabees because they do construction, and I was one of 300 applicants didn't get in. So I applied for 1st Marine Division with the infantry, and I was one of one applicant. And I was lucky enough to get in.
serious?
Yeah, nobody really wants
Nobody
to go.
wants to go. Huh?
Nobody wants to go
with the grunts.
Everybody
is like-
pretends to. Everybody wants that.
So why was that your second choice after CVs then?
Because Seabees do construction. They're in Ventura County, and then
Yeah.
they just do construction shit.
That's Port Hueneme, right?
Port Hueneme,
that's
exactly.
right,
Yeah. So they party hard. They do all that fun shit.
You're
you
still
know?
sort
So-
of like with
And-
the
and you
Navy
learn
side of
stuff.
things,
Yeah.
You know,
You
like-
learn
CVs, you
stuff.
have like a skilled trade.
Yeah, dude, you're leaving with
Yeah.
a skilled trade, and
Right.
so you're learning stuff. Not that I'd be able to do their job, but at least just be around it, all that good stuff. Anyway, but I get sent to the. I decided to join the infantry instead. I joined 1st Marine Division. So yeah, you get assigned pretty fast. Everything was fast from there. They put you into school. It's a 2-month school, Field Medical Training Battalion. It's a Marine Corps run school in Camp Pendleton. It's run by corpsmen and Marines and stuff, and they treat it like boot camp. Even though I was a fleet returnee, I had one bullshit deployment to Kuwait, and then and I thought that I was something not a big shot, but a little higher enough.
You had a couple years in already.
I had a couple years in, but they treat you like shit, just like anybody else.
I mean,
there.
because you're going into the Marines.
They're teaching you how to be a Marine.
How to be a
essentially.
Marine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's that boot. It's their boot camp. It's
Yeah.
a mini boot camp for Navy corpsmen to learn how to be a Marine, but you're also learning how to be a field medical corpsman. So like you're learning combat medicine.
yeah,
Kinda
But-
get your
but
ass
when you're
kicked from
out-
2 directions.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But when you're
Angry
out
from all
there
sides.
with the Marine unit, you have a gun. You're a part of that unit.
Yeah,
I mean,
if
you're
a
fighting.
squad-
You're part
yeah,
of
if
that
you're a
fighting
squad
force.
corpsman- there's headquarters corpsmen doing like the paperwork, all that shit. But if you're a squad corpsman, like in Afghanistan, I was with a 3rd Battalion, 1st Marines, Weapons Company, 81 millimeter mortar platoon, Reaper 2-1, to keep it short. And but yeah, these guys were mortarmen. These guys were in charge of 81 millimeter mortars, and then doing all that math shit of how to get one mortar and kill somebody a half a mile away and stuff. But you get sent to Afghanistan. No mortars. Here's your rifle. Go clear. Go clear a road. Go clear buildings. You're just an infantryman. Never used a mortar there. They fired maybe a couple mortars.
really?
I guess for rounds, just for light rounds, because we were once just overnight in some compound, and we needed a light just in case we were going to get attacked and stuff. So they would light.
Oh, and that was it?
Yeah.
It was set up around. And
It was
that
like
was it.
flares?
Yeah, because you
Mortar
couldn't
flares?
Yeah.
couldn't order mortar rounds anyway because there were always helicopters coming in and out. So there was always the chance of a helicopter getting hit. You couldn't order artillery until there was like air clear, nothing in the fucking air. Then you couldn't order artillery. Like you're there by yourself pretty much.
So what you were trained to do, they weren't having you guys do at all.
Fuck no, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which is
yes
very
and no.
common.
It's
Very
very common,
common.
dude. A corpsman does everyone else's job, but no one does a corpsman's job, pretty much.
Sort of like the Mac.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sort of like
right?
the Mac.
Yeah.
You
Made-
do like
made-
Amazon
made you
shit. You
perfect
do,
for
yeah,
here.
exactly. No, I mean, if anything, it made sense why they invite corpsmen to our job. Just if not for the knowledge, just for the flexibility.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I got in there not knowing shit. I was never an EMT in LA County. I was never a paramedic. Never worked in a hospital in LA County. Don't want to claim I did, So
Yeah.
And so when I went in with zero knowledge, like zero. I didn't know shit about shit.
You're talking about the Mac.
The Mac,
Okay,
the Mac,
yeah.
yeah.
All right,
So,
yeah.
but luckily, from my time in the Navy, I had enough, enough knowledge to just get me into the door. And luckily, guys like you, guys with fucking experience, because an LA County paramedic goes through a lot of shit. Like they go through, corpsmen. We act like our dick's all big, but LA County paramedics see a lot of crazy shit on the daily.
Yeah.
So you learn from these guys, and I mean, I was able to learn luckily from really good people, and I was a sponge, So I mean, I was able to learn fast there.
And corpsmen are pretty basic and not basic. I don't mean to say that in disrespecting any of us, but like we learn, sort of a broad view of medicine, because you can do anything from like being just a regular EMT to like almost being a surgeon. Because
Yeah.
you're kind of
assisting.
Yeah.
At least,
Yeah, you're in the field alone. You know what they're gonna ask you
Yeah.
to do.
Even
Yeah.
corpsman
Right.
basic school is
So
just like 2
it's
months of
2 months of
everything.
like everything
Yeah.
that you could possibly cram into your head really fast. So you retain almost nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and
Man.
then it's
It's the
just
best way to learn. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It's all on the job training.
Dude,
so then
that's
like
kind of how paramedic school goes
Right,
too, though.
yeah.
Dude.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like 3 months if you just learn like a year of medical school,
yeah.
and then you're like a month in an ER, you
Yeah.
know, physically doing some shit, and then
Yep.
20 shifts. Then
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first thing they tell you
Get
is
out
forget
there.
everything you learned. Like,
Right.
welcome aboard, forget all that bullshit.
Yep.
Like, we're about to teach
Right.
you everything brand new.
yeah,
Like, I mean, you had to go with it. I mean,
You went
either,
to a hospital first though?
I was I was at a hospital.
So
I
your
was
first duty
My first
station-
duty station was a shore duty at
Shore
Naval
duty.
Hospital, San Diego.
So you do 2 years shore, 2 years sea duty.
Yeah.
And then your 2 year sea duty is counted by either being with the Seabees, the Marines, or on a ship.
yeah,
Gotcha.
And so you tried to go with the Seabees, but
yeah,
you went with
yeah, with the Marines
the
instead. Yeah.
Marines.
you didn't want to be on a ship, basically.
No, fuck that.
No, no.
Right. Yeah, is that
No.
Yeah.
So
what is it about it? Just,
Just being out
in
there,
a
or-
quick
No
Six
nugget.
months
offense to the
with a
Navy
bunch of
corpsmen
dudes?
on ships. I love them. You know, you guys got all my love, but fuck that, dude.
No.
Like, just babysitting a whole ship full of fuckers that are just gonna get fucked
Disgusting.
up every shore
Yeah.
duty.
They go out
Ah,
and-
okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
not that Marines are any cleaner. I love you guys,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
a
Yeah.
smaller crowd.
Yeah.
You know, you're not confined to like one ship. You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
with
Yeah.
the Marines, like you might go out to the desert for whatever. Some
and you know,
training for
honestly, if
couple
you're a
months, but-
corpsman, you get pretty much introduced to that. These are the rock stars. These are the guys that went with the Marines. They're the guys with the fucking big
More
ass
respect.
stacks,
Yeah.
combat
Yeah.
action ribbon,
Yeah.
Fleet Marine Force pin,
Mhm.
high ranking guys, probably like 25, and they're already E6s, which
Yeah.
is decently
Big
high.
swinging dicks of the corpsmen.
Big swinging dicks,
Yeah.
and you're seeing these guys scrawny little fucking nothings, dude. But I mean, you see that chest, and you're like, you have instant respect for
You
them.
did some
and
shit.
no
Yeah.
offense to the ship guys, but they had their, surface warfare, maybe 2 racks of ribbons. And as a 19, I'm a 19-year-old boot ass corpsman looking at that, and I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
I kind of want to go with these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got sent to the hospital first, but then after that, you want to get deployed. You want to get, at least with the Seabees,
You wanna
they
do
deploy.
something.
Some action.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then with the Marines, that's guaranteed. Like
Yeah.
a Marine grunt, a Marine PFC is gonna have the biggest stack, dude. You're gonna fucking see. I mean, these guys are.
Do you
highly
stay
decorated.
with the same unit? Like you get deployed,
You can.
come back. Do you stay with that same unit to get deployed again, or do you get sent with another unit?
You
or-
could get sent to another
You
unit if
can.
you want. I did 2
Yeah.
deployments on my sea duty.
Yeah.
I went to Okinawa. Our first deployment was Okinawa. They had just got back from an Iraq deployment, so all these guys were fucking burnt out. It was Iraq, and then before that, they had
That was 3-1?
Haditha, and then before that, it was Fallujah. So like 3rd Battalion, 1st
Damn.
Marines.
That was 3-1.
That was 3-1, yeah.
Yeah.
So every sea duty was hardcore. Like 3-1 is the balls of the court. That's their nickname. For
Those
a
are the
reason.
Marines that I was with in Iraq
Mhm.
when I was deployed.
Yeah. So let's talk about what you're doing.
So I did my first 2 years like Sergio in the hospital. Worked in the ER, ICU at Yokosuka Naval Hospital, which was a lot of fun. My first 2 years in the Navy
That's in Japan, right?
was a blast. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like
Yeah.
I wore my uniform maybe twice the whole time. I forgot I was in the Navy. I probably look like the way I do right now,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
lax. That's like the Navy side of things
Yeah.
on shore.
It's McHale's Navy.
McHale's
Yeah,
Navy,
yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. But I learned a lot in the ICU. I learned a lot on the ward. I learned a lot in the ER.
Yeah.
I picked up some good knowledge there. And then it was my turn to go to sea duty, and 9/11 just happened. So I was like, oh, for sure we're going to war. So I'm going to try and get on a ship because I don't want to go to war. I'm not the big swinging dick corpsman like he is.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like the guy that wants to stay in the hospital. Like this is not what I signed up for.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right, right.
Clint was in office getting a blowjob when I signed
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
things were cool.
Yeah.
So so then it was sea duty, and I put in for a couple of ships like out of Hawaii, like really dreaming big. And then they were like, "Yeah, no, you're going with the Marines." So I was like, all right. So went to field med school, did the training in Camp Pendleton. They got stationed with 1st Med Battalion, which is in the rear with the gear and the beer. So I was like, all right, good enough. I'll be in the rear,
Yeah.
with a MASH
Let's
unit.
say that one again. In the rear with the gear
in the
and
beer.
the beer.
In the beer.
Let's make that clear.
Right.
All right.
Although it was Iraq in a dry country, so there wasn't any beer. So a little
In
disappointment.
the rear with the gear.
Yeah,
And
looking
dust.
for beer.
And dust.
Yeah. So I worked in a MASH unit, Charlie Surgical Company. But this was the first time on a deployment. This is the very beginning of the war, March 19th, 2003, when we got deployed, when the war
Right.
started.
Yeah.
So, we were like in Kuwait. There's like all these camps, and there's a berm.
Shock and awe.
Shock and awe was
Yeah.
like, and it's like, it was pretty trippy, man. I went up to like the 1st Marine Division to see these guys, and like they just look like a bunch of Roman, warriors. They were like, we're gonna murder these dudes. Like they're like, we're gonna.
Yeah,
this is gonna be
they were
so
pumped.
easy. Yeah, they were pumped.
Yeah.
And then the tomahawks started going off, and like the missiles were going back and forth between Kuwait City and Iraq, and it's like, holy shit,
Crazy. And you never
is
seen
happening.
anything like
I've never
that
seen anything like
at that point. Yeah.
No, and it was like 2 a.m. on
This
that
is
Friday.
this is like the literal start of war.
Very literal
it's
beginning
crazy.
of
Yeah.
Iraq War.
Wow.
I was sitting there, on watch at like 2 a.m, smoking a cigarette, and I see this thing go flying by, and I'm like, what the hell was that? And then just ba-boom, you hear like this loud explosion. It's like, and I was the guy that had to like do the crank.
Oh, shit.
And then like the crank's sitting next to him, I'm like smoking a cigarette. My
The
buddy's
Nazis
like,
are bombing.
dude, you got to pull do the thing. And I'm like, this is gonna take a while. And I'm like, and I'm smoking a cigarette, man. I'm like, and they didn't hear that boom. Like,
You're the fucking crank guy.
The point is moot.
right? Who cares? So, like, whatever. Throw a cigarette. And then that's like, all right, the war is starting. And that was like that weekend, and the grunts and the Marines and everybody are going. And like you just see like recon guys going, and and there were supposed to be 3 MASH units, 3 surgical companies, Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie, and we're supposed to leapfrog each other on the way up because it was going to be a fast move up to Baghdad. Bravo and Alpha company did not get geared up, so it was just us.
Oh, no shit.
So it was one surgical company for an entire war, and there's
Because the other 2 weren't ready.
because the other 2 weren't ready because their logistics sucked.
That's
I
wild.
forget,
No shit.
I forget who those people were, but I won't call them out right now. But we were good. We were on top of our game, and like we just had a good company. Actually, our CO was Captain Bowman and Mad Dog Mattis were the ones that put together this new program called a shock trauma platoon, which was the first because we're non-combatants, doctors and nurses with
Right,
guns.
right.
You're not supposed to be
Yeah.
on the front line. They convinced all the generals at that time that no, we're going to be at the front line. We're not going to be a MASH unit because we have to fix the golden hour, is what they called it.
Right.
Right? By the time you get shot where
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
at,
of course.
it would take about an hour for him to get his wounded Marines to us.
Yeah.
So we said, all right,
Lose
well,
a
we'll
lot
just
of time,
we'll
yeah.
bring the ER and the OR to you. So a shock trauma platoon was a small mobile ER of Marines, corpsmen, a couple of docs, a couple of nurses.
And this was something new.
forward
Something
operating
totally
base
Totally
thing.
new.
Totally
Yeah.
new. And we had those base X tents that we have in the warehouse.
Right.
Same tents that you could put up and break down in like 10, 15 minutes. And then just start accepting patients right away. So
It's crazy.
if they couldn't get to us, or if the operations, however they made it, whatever the field ops were going on, we could adjust to that. So even though we were only one surgical company,
Yeah.
we were mobile and enough to like support everybody else,
Wow.
which was crazy because like that's never happened before
Yeah.
in military history, where we've never had. I mean, in modern history, where the doctors and nurses are like rolling up front.
So how many times do you think you like set up and broke down?
Oh my god, dude, couldn't even tell you.
Really?
Yeah.
And how busy were you staying with patients?
In the very beginning, I remember the first truckload that came in. They would come to. So we landed the surgical company in the worst freaking dust storm in like 20 years
Oh,
of its
no
history.
shit.
Yeah, it was just awful. And then it rained, so we were just covered in mud.
Mud.
Yeah, and then we had like these old tents that were just set up. The mobile units were going out, and they would get frapped. They called it frapped out, where like you just get sucked into like someone else's mission, and you're frapped out with that mission. or
Yeah,
whatever it
yeah.
is. So they would go out and do their missions. We were far enough back that we didn't really see any of the action. We would just see the aftermath. But I was on the radio the whole time, so I would hear the gun battles going on. I would hear the chaos. And it'd be like, all right, sounds like we got a lot of patients
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
our way. We got to start getting ready. Again, I was that guy.
Yeah.
I love that. I don't know why I got that. I'd like,
Do you have one at home?
no, I wish I did though.
You wake your kids up.
Yeah,
yeah. Time for school.
Reveille.
Come on.
So they would come to us, and they would come to us in like triaged already by the corpsmen out in the field.
And they probably already had some basic, basic
Catched
life
up.
support stuff going on too,
Yeah.
right?
Basic.
Very basic.
Yeah.
And that's what I meant by
Capital
basic
B.
was
Yeah.
that like the field corpsman has very little to do with really and they're dealing with so many Marines. It's like, and they
Sure.
even teach the other Marines like, hey, buddy aid, this is how you fix yourself.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah,
now
you
the
got- you
tourniquets are
have to,
on the
yeah.
jackets now, and like on their suits now. But like back then, it was like he's the only guy with like hopefully enough tourniquets for everybody.
Yeah.
So he's just going around like strapping people's
Hold
arms
on,
up.
hold on.
and-
So how many Marines are you responsible for?
I mean, there's 1,200. There's about 1,200 in a battalion, but in a company, it's about I want to say 300. But for me personally, for my squad,
that you have to watch
it was
and take care
about
of at a time.
10, 12.
10
or
to 12?
It was a squad.
And what do you have on you?
We just have shit that I stole from the army base on our way in. Shit that I stole from Camp Pendleton before we deployed.
A lot of
shit that you steal. A lot of different looking shit.
Just
from
shit that you just swipe. That
swipe
I'm
the
gonna need
shit.
this. I'm gonna need this.
because you.
So what do they give you?
Well, your budget is from your battalion. So like already the Marine Corps gets what 5 cents of every dollar.
Yeah.
And so the Marine Corps is gonna be bullets, gasoline,
Yeah.
everything else, and then
Fucking
medical
grenades.
shit.
Yep.
Hey, dude, figure it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
You just figure it out. You open up an old fucking Conex box and you.
They
get some
know
old
that
shit.
they're gonna get shot the most though.
Yes.
So it's like
Yeah.
So they give them the most bullets.
You know, the most bullet. It's yeah. Dude,
you better shoot first.
the best medicine is superior firepower. That's
And
what they say. So.
that's the triage that we
damn.
learned too. So like triage is different for the civilian world, whereas like our objective is to put the most people on a well, his objective is to put the most people on a gun. So if somebody is in triage, I forget how it works. I think they're triage green or yellow or red. They don't get sent back, and they're your highest priority, more than red, right? So like yellow is first. You work on your yellows first because you can put them back on a gun.
Okay.
You wouldn't work on your red
yeah.
first.
Gotcha.
Red's going to be like, you might die. dude.
Well, you teach
Yeah, yeah.
sulfate so that someone that does get shot, but they could be down the line. Somebody could be 15 feet away from me, but with heavy gunfire, your squad leader is holding you down. Your squad leader is saying, "Get the fuck over here! Like, don't run, dude."
Right.
Even though the guy's bleeding out, so you're teaching these people self-aid, buddy aid, so that even if they get shot in the leg, they have a femoral. You teach them. You have a femoral bleed, or just if you get shot in the leg. Period. I would just tell these fuckers. Period, dude. Just fucking put a tourniquet on, and we'll see what happens, dude. And I'll go later and
get to
check
you in a
their
minute.
pulses.
Yeah.
Don't
Oh,
trip,
you don't
dude.
need
But
that,
if just
yeah.
put the fucking tourniquet on, and we'll go to step 2 after that.
So
know?
you also have to kind of train them.
You're training
on what to
them,
do
you're doing
every day.
It's preventative medicine. It's psychology sometimes.
Because you're there, but you're not really gonna be there.
You're there. Oh yeah, you're
Yeah.
there, and then but these guys are relying on you. These guys will, these guys will drunkenly remind you at 2 a.m. in Vegas that one time that you didn't go on the patrol.
Yeah.
Which happened. but, but that's why, these guys will remind you. These guys because they put so much regard to corpsmen. I came into my squad after a guy got blown up. The guy before him got blown up, got the Silver Star. Someone, we lost the Marine.
Did they tell
Larry
you that
Johnson.
like the first day?
Oh no, I knew it. He was my. We were co-corpsmen, but I was in headquarters platoon at the time. They're a little down south at Patrol Base Karma doing their operations. Fucking nuts. Tip of the spear. Like no Americans had even been there. 9 years into the war, there'd been no Americans there.
Shit.
And you're about like 10 miles between us and the Pakistani border, where the fucking Taliban has a safe zone anyway. So it's just they're putting you up. They're putting you. Not saying you have to fail, but they're pretty much telling you good luck, dude. I mean,
That's what I was gonna say. Like they're like, why?
Oh, because you're a Marine grunt, and you know what? But as a Marine grunt, you get told, all right, this is what you're gonna do, and you have that teamwork. You have that. It's awesome because you do miss that because you have that teamwork that like this is the worst possible situation, but we trained for this. We're gonna get through it. This is my boy right here. We're friends, and I know if I fuck up, he's on my back. I didn't have that good luck because when I went with my platoon, we were already in Afghanistan. These guys already had a corpsman. He got blown up 2 days before that. They needed a replacement corpsman. So, I volunteered. I was like, well, I'm the closest.
He volunteered for the position
Last
that
guy got blown up. Yeah, there was an opening.
Well, yeah, because there was
Blowed
two
up?
guys.
Alright.
There was a guy,
I'm in.
Kellen Gum. It was fucking awesome. Great corpsman. He got sent down as a replacement corpsman. And he got sent with another corpsman. And I told our chief, I was like, dude, I'll just go. I'll go. I'm already here. Fuck it. I was bored anyway, whatever the fuck. So I went. And these guys, I knew them sort of in passing, but I had to gain their trust in Afghanistan on the job, and these guys, and you have to. You're
especially
carrying
since their corpsman just died before, right?
Yeah.
Like that's
Right,
you got to
yeah.
rebuild that.
Well, he
Sure.
didn't die. He
Often
got
that.
injured, but
Yeah.
they
But he
medevaced
still
him
got
out.
blasted,
He got
yeah.
blasted. He got
Yeah.
and they just had a death right before that. So these guys are in shock. These guys still have the crusted blood on their sleeves. So it's bad. So and then me, I'm going in there just as a. I hadn't even treated a combat injury yet at that point. I'd been in a firefight at that point, but I mean, it's easy. Corpsman in a firefight with the Marines is easy because these guys got your back. These guys, I mean, you're just
They
right
need
there
you,
more.
yeah.
Yeah, they don't need you
Yeah.
because you're in there with superior fire, and these guys are just trained killers, and they love it, and it's awesome.
It's very impressive to be around. I mean, you see it in the movies. You you hear about it, but like to be really around these fucking amped up warriors who these guys would come in to us with no arms, you know, like legs blown off,
Yeah.
and screaming, "Get me back in the fight!" You're like,
Yeah.
I don't want to
"Dude,
go. I don't want to
Crazy.
go.
I don't want to go. Get me back in the.
Yeah.
Get me back in there. Get me back in there." Like all they want to do is just go out there. And they're just impressive warriors. Like
Yeah.
it's just it's incredible. And then to like even be like in the middle of their ability to just stay focused and to communicate in a way that's like very effective.
While shit's
Yeah, me
flying
personally,
around.
shit's
you
Yeah.
feel
going
like
around.
you're not worthy. You feel like, damn, what am I doing here, dude? Like these guys are fucking killers, man. Like,
Yeah.
That's what
like
I was
these guys
gonna,
are awesome.
I was going to ask you then. So, like, when you're the corpsman in the firefight, like, are you pretty much just like standing in the corner?
No, you're a
or
Marine.
down?
You're a Marine
You're a
until
Marine.
someone
Yeah.
gets hurt. Like
Yep.
you're shooting back. Like you're
Okay.
shooting back. Like you're
Geneva
in it.
Convention says you're not supposed to be shooting back. That's the rule in the rule book, whatever that fucking
I'm
thing is.
not
It says we're non-combatants.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So like our only
Yeah.
weapon that we're really supposed to have is a 12 gauge shotgun and a 9mm. But things have changed.
Yeah, they changed it to an M4. When I was there,
changed to
in like
M4.
some, I don't know about Iraq exactly, but I know in Afghanistan we were all given an M4. So you have a rifle.
But you were getting down?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
whenever there was a firefight, you have to shoot back. You have to
Yeah.
get down. I mean,
Right.
like you have
Yeah.
to do everything you can because these guys will. I mean, I had Sergeant
They're
Mendes
trying to
pull me
fucking
out of a
kill you.
rooftop. I
Right.
mean, like you shooting
But
back.
the rules
they
also
wanna
say
keep
you're
you
not
safe.
supposed to shoot
Right.
a corpsman.
Yeah.
Right? You're not
Yeah.
supposed to shoot medical, but that's the first thing they aim at is when they see that red cross, they want to shoot you first.
Yeah.
So-
So
You
you can't
can't
save
help
anyone
anyone.
else.
Yeah, so the rules kind of just go out the door, and
Yeah,
you
'cause
are
find
now a
the Taliban.
Marine.
The Taliban,
Right.
they're not playing. They're I
The
mean,
Geneva Convention, yeah. but
Yeah,
half of them never even heard of 9/11.
Never
You know,
even
they
heard
don't
of
even
it.
know what they're for.
Yeah.
They- Some of them think we're Russian.
Right.
You know, like, you know,
Right.
it's just
Yeah.
you know. So you're just fighting that. I mean, you're just fighting a mysterious war anyway, mysterious enemy who's playing by their own rules no matter what.
Right.
So you gotta, you just have to adapt to them.
But were you also like corpsman for the area you're patrolling, kind of?
Oh,
Like I know
yeah.
you're responsible for the Marines, but are you?
Every-
you
Locals,
have to
the
help
locals do.
too,
Yeah,
right?
the locals do
Yep.
too. You know,
Because there's
like,
no health care really.
oh yeah,
right?
there's no health care, emergency care. I mean, like once there was air red means that there's a dust storm, no helicopters, no nothing. And when there's no helicopters, I mean, there's no patrol. So when you woke up in the morning, you saw dust in the air, you're like, fuck yeah, no patrol. I could just sleep in, jerk off, eat good, relax. And then, we're relaxing, making breakfast. And then, all of a sudden you hear a bomb blow. You hear an IED and far in the distance, just boom. Yeah. But there's no patrols and we're like, hey, there's no patrols, right? And yeah, there's no patrols. So usually when that happens, that means a Taliban person was planting an IED and he blew himself up.
Yeah.
So everyone's all like, fucking hey, dude, hell yeah, one less person to worry about. And, we're all joking about it. And, everyone had a good time until this old man drives up. He comes out back of his truck, 2 injured little girls, blown out legs, eviscerated bowels. They're covered in a blanket. You take out the blanket and they're just stuffing. They got the insides of a pillow. Yeah. It's just cotton all over. Yeah. So you don't even know what the fuck, what's bleeding, what's not.
Yeah.
What am I looking at
And
exactly?
it's just you.
Yeah.
It's just you at the time. So there's no air. There's no. Hey, usually as a corpsman, it's an easy job. I'm not gonna lie. You plug the hole, you keep them alive, and you try to get the helicopter there in time, and it's in God's hands after that. Right. But you it's. I mean, I don't want to call it simple, but as long as you're doing the right 5 fucking things, you're probably gonna save someone's life enough to get them to a surgery.
Yeah.
And in Afghanistan, they cut the golden hour like really short. Like people there were fucking quick. I mean, even for non-emergency old people, they were there fast. But this one wasn't an option. Like I asked the first. You do your scene safety, all that stuff that you're trained and stuff, but it all goes out the window. These Marines have your back, but there's family gathering outside. The old man's like, what the fuck's going on? You unwrap the little girls. You grab the little girl, and the first thing the old man does is, don't touch my daughter. Mm-hmm. You're a man. You can't touch my daughter. And he's telling the guy, and I'm like, what do you want me to do, dude? Then send her to a fucking Taliban trauma surgeon then, if you like. Dude, like, I'm your own. And I told him, like, tell this fucker that I'm his only option. His kid, these girls are going to die. His wives, daughters, grandsons, I don't know what the fuck, dude. I know, like however it works here, these 2 kids are gonna die if I don't do anything. So finally, we have to convince them that you're gonna tell everyone that you worked on them, that I told you how to do it. All right, cool. By this time, luckily, another corpsman from a patrol base had come, this HM2 Gum. He shows up, and he's like a very professional corpsman. He's like he's a PA now. Like, he's a CTU PA. So he's like super good to go, smart fucking guy. He comes in, starts helping me out. We're wrapping bowels. We're fucking putting tourniquets. We're putting Toradol for their, we're putting Toradol for pain. We're giving them morphine too. We're just like, fuck it, dude. Like,
whatever.
if anything else, let them die in peace, dude.
Yeah.
'Cause these girls do not look well. Yeah. So, again, you ask, so can we get a helicopter? No. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, can we get an escort up and get one of our trucks blown up? No. Okay, so what's option B? So finally, we get these girls. They're still alive, pale, cool face. haven't said one word, not even one, nothing, probably going into shock, you know, like,
Right.
you know, they're just, you know, wide-eyed and everything.
Yeah.
Finally, some guy rolls up in a truck, obviously a Taliban member, wearing all black, you know, like, dude, like, if this guy, any other situation, we would have arrested this guy. But he's their right. He says, fuck it, throw him in. He throws him in the back. We tell him, look, you're going to go to Lashkar Gah. You're going to go to Lashkar Gah, and they have a Doctors Without Borders hospital there. You're going to go, they treat everyone there. Taliban, doesn't fucking matter. You're going to go there, and you're going to, you know, that's it, you know, and we're going to see what happens. You know, I gave him a couple IV bags. I tell him this is how you change an IV bag. If you see, you know, blood coming out, you're going to try to wrap it again, put pressure on
Teaching
it.
the enemy.
Yeah.
Teaching the enemy,
Yeah.
and you're teaching, I mean,
And
all
taking
you
care
can do,
of,
though.
and taking care of
And this is
civilians.
like in like 2 minutes. You're giving them like a
this
whole
is all
lesson.
the process. This probably happened faster than the story that I'm telling. You know, like this,
Yeah.
this happened so fucking fast. Like, and you know, finally we load her up. We're explaining to this guy, and then boop, dust cloud. They're gone. We're radioing to other people. Hey, there's a truck coming. Don't fucking light them up. There's a couple of
Yeah.
fucking sick girls. They're on their way to Lashkar Gah. And you know, they left. And then you don't know. I mean, honestly, I thought they were gonna die. I honestly thought they were gonna die. And you know, I was telling Gum, you know, I was like, hey, well, fuck it. You know, you light a cigarette and you just say,
Did
fuck
the best
it.
you could. Yeah.
What else can you do? You know,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
you know, whatever. You know, they end up surviving. I mean, to sum up that story, like before we
No
we
shit.
leave,
So you did find out.
some old man comes up and he tells our squad leader, tells him that, oh, just let the guy know that the 2 girls are alive, like they survived.
Wow.
And they told me, and I was like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? I mean, don't get me
Good
wrong, that's
work.
cool. I was like, damn, that is nuts. Like,
Yeah.
that is,
Wow.
that was not my doing. That was God's doing or something. I was like, man, dude, like, it's a miracle. But it teaches you that everyone's different. Every trauma is different.
And you never know. You never know what's going to happen with an outcome.
Yeah,
know,
you probably as
just-
firemen experience healthy people dropping like flies,
Yeah,
and the
man.
most unhealthy fucker on earth is going to live to 100. You never know. And
You
it's the
never
same thing
know,
with
dude.
trauma.
You just do the best you can
Yeah.
and hope for the best, and
Yep.
it's out of your hands at that point.
Right.
Even like with us, like when people call back or I'll get back from a run, Cap will be like, "Hey, remember that dude from, you
Yeah.
know, 2 shifts ago? That blah blah blah. Oh yeah, fuck. Oh yeah, well
Right.
he made it or whatever. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just a good.
It
it's
is
a
a
good.
good
It's a good
feeling.
fucking feeling.
Yeah, it is.
You know.
Yeah, it is.
Um.
There was a lot of kids though too.
Yeah.
That was the hard part about. That's the hardest part about that deployment.
Yeah.
Was all the civilian casualties that happened as a result of us in this conflict with the enemy
Because those come in to you
as
at
well.
the hospital, right?
Yeah, they would come to us.
Wherever you guys set up,
Yeah.
then the locals saw that you set up and they knew that you were there.
Yeah, well, we would go out and provide health care to the local facilities
like
as well.
clinic kind of thing, like set
Yeah.
up clinic.
Well,
Wow.
you know, and like if there was an already existing infrastructure there, we would go and like work with them, you know, and try and do like, you know, and then we would build. It's a great way to build the relationship.
Goodwill.
For one,
Yeah.
right?
Some
Two, they
important
needed
work,
it.
yeah.
They needed it. I mean,
Hearts
it's
and
just,
minds.
Yeah, hearts and minds. Yeah,
Yeah.
Two in the
Literally.
heart, one in the
Real
mind.
though.
yeah.
Man,
So
crazy. So what was that like though? Like when they would come in?
yeah, I mean, you know, because so what I did is kind of like the Mac.
Yeah.
Right. I would be on the phone. I would hear either from him or from someone in between him and us. You know, either it's coming in by air or ground. You know, this is what's coming towards us. I would prepare the hospital. I get, you know, everybody ready. You know, we've got 30, 40, and it would come in like that amount.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
It was always a mass casualty,
Oh, really?
Everything was right.
almost all the time.
Yeah.
And how many patients could you guys handle with that
Like
particular unit?
200.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I mean, I think our max capacity for patients, because when we were at a full mass unit, was probably somewhere around 300 or 400 patients.
So it's like a
Wow.
real platoon. There's a lot of doctors, nurses.
yeah,
there's a lot of staff.
yeah. The numbers off the top of my head I can't remember, but we had enough. It was a small hospital, mobile hospital.
Right.
So,
Wow.
but yeah, then every once in a while we get the onesie twosies too, and those are the kids that would like, you know, same thing, like get blown up by like an IED or get run over by a vehicle or something, and they
Yeah.
wouldn't want to go to their local. They would come to us.
And they just show up though, right?
We were better medical attention,
Yeah.
a mass unit compared to like their already infrastructure in Iraq,
Yeah,
like in a
established
city.
brick and mortar hospitals.
Yeah, they'd rather come to us.
Man.
We couldn't always take them. We weren't always allowed to, but if it was like a kid or if it was something that we caused, we certainly would take them in.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, if it was.
Wait,
our
so
fault.
what was the criteria then where they would turn people away?
Well,
Like you saw that happen?
no,
Or-
that wasn't really on my end of
Okay.
things. I just know that did kind of occur. You know,
it could.
safety.
Yeah, who
you know,
knows?
because
Ah.
you could be getting, and that was the thing is we
Security
did end up
concerns.
getting security breaches as a result of that.
Oh, from helping local people?
From helping local people or hiring local people to like, fill sandbags and stuff like that. They would carry cell phones on them and give away these positions of where the hospital was. This is where they eat breakfast, right? And our base, one of the bases that I was at, and this is the second time I went. This was, the first time I went was we were rear gear beer, in the behind. No, I didn't see any gunshots. I didn't hear any gunshots. I didn't see any action going on. We just received the casualties all the time.
That's in the invasion, right?
During the invasion. So that was the push up to Baghdad in the very beginning.
Right.
Go home. I was there for 6 months, 9 months, something like that. Go home. Fallujah pops off, and they're like, "Oh, you got to go back." And I was like, "Ah, son of a bitch." All right.
Yeah.
And I was like almost out of the Navy. Like I was months away from getting out. I'm like, "Damn it."
Yeah.
So they sent me out to Fallujah. And it was me and my buddy Romero, and the two of us were the only ones that were there
Yeah, I
before.
remember Romero.
Yeah, you know Romero. Yeah. And so, we were the only ones that had been there before, and we had this group of corpsmen that hadn't gone yet. So we were supposed to teach them, like, hey, man, this is what's to expect. Like, it's going to be easy, man. We're in the rear. Don't worry. No one's getting shot.
Yeah.
Well, the war had changed by that time.
Yeah.
And now it was... our big concern was IEDs at that point, and then whatever skirmishes we went along during the battles. Then there was no more like enemy line. It was just everything was everywhere. So
you didn't know what was what.
We
who
didn't
was
know
who,
Because
what.
Iraq,
shit,
there were
right?
green zones. There was
Right.
established. This is the base.
that was out the window the second time.
Yeah.
And I'm preparing these guys. I'm like, hey, don't worry about it. It's gonna be easy. It's gonna be peasy. No, it's gonna be real simple. Yep. And we fly from California to Spain. We get to Spain. We gear up. And my father-in-law at the time, when I was married, he was a doctor in the Navy, and he was stationed at Spain. And he knew that we were flying in, so he bought out the bar for me and my crew.
Nice.
So we got drunk the whole night, right? And the next morning, we're flying into Iraq. And he's like, and I'm like, well, we can... I remember my chief being like, hey, man, do you think this is a good idea? I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it, man.
We're going to be in the rear with the gear, and there's no beer, so we might as well.
I'll load up, right?
Yeah.
Just sleep it off when we get
Sleep
there.
it off, right?
Yeah.
And we're flying in on this cargo Air Force plane where it's like, it's backwards, right? Like you sit backwards, and we hit a 1,000-foot like air pocket.
Oh, and you're all hungover.
And we're all hungover, like, ooh, like everyone's throwing up. Like, we're just beat up just flying in. And we come in the middle of the night into Ramadi. I think that was the base, air base. Ramadi was an air base. And, it's a corkscrew landing. They don't just come in gradually.
Yeah, that's right.
They do like a drop.
Because they can get shot down.
Because they can get shot down.
Yeah.
And sure enough, the Air Force doesn't tell us this, right? The guy's just laughing in the back. He's like, oh, watch these corpsmen fucking throw up.
Right.
So they do the corkscrew thing. We're all like, ah! And you can hear the gunfire outside.
Yeah.
And you could see, like, out the window. I'm looking out the window, and I just see, like, RPGs going. And I'm like, what the fuck? All my buddies are looking at me. They're like, you fucking liar. You fucking, like, you fucked up, man. I was like, sorry. Like,
We got on the wrong plane.
got on the wrong plane. I'm like, this isn't the right
Took us to
destination.
hell.
Yep. It's like the thing comes down, and like these two Marines come rolling up in like a Humvee with like a 50 cal, and he's like shooting away, and he's like, "Oh yeah, come with us, guys. We're gonna show you to your room." Like a hotel.
That's the Uber.
Towels on the counter.
Yeah, I was like, so fucking crazy when that's
dude.
like I was like, oh, this is what I've been missing. This is not what I was not expecting, and this is where we are now. So like, it was a totally different war at that point, but. We went from Fallujah was popping off. Bravo Company was finally set up. And so they were there at Ramadi taking all those casualties coming in. A year later. Yeah, finally. And then we went to and then we went to Khatam, which was an old Iraqi Air Force base. And it's like a plateau. So and it's right where it's elevated maybe 50 feet from the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Tigris and the Euphrates River crossed right there in front of it. So these guys would give away the coordinates of where everything important was on the base, and then they'd be across the river with a little, garage button thing, and just float a boat down the Tigris and Euphrates with a bunch of mortars, and they just hit it. And like, we call it the 21 mortar day, when 21 mortars came down and hit our where we were eating breakfast. Like my Fruit Loops went everywhere. I was furious. Well, you fucking with my Fruit Loops, man. I was so mad about that. And
Is there a point when there's 21 where it's just like, all right,
enough!
There's 10,
Yeah.
there's 11,
Yeah.
there's 14.
Stop counting at
Like, all right, 20.
Yeah, no, I
21
you
for
count
real?
every one of them. You're just like, all right. It's a game now.
They got to run out eventually.
Yeah.
Like it's funny, then it's not funny, then
Right.
it becomes funny again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Does the Army and like the Air Force have their own kind of corpsmen of their own that they?
I wouldn't
have
call them
medical-
corpsmen.
Not corpsmen, but I know, man.
I mean, they're
I
medics,
don't want to.
yeah.
I don't want to say the
I
wrong
mean,
thing.
I'm not
but
saying that they're doing their work
medics.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
they have their own medics and stuff. But you know, they recently changed the school to all 4 branches go to the same school now in Texas.
It used to be separate.
Yeah, I
Oh,
went to
okay.
Great
So
Lakes.
you're all
You went to
learning the
Great-
same thing.
Now there are. Yeah.
They all-
Yeah, before it was in Great Lakes. It was like its own listed corps. It had its own ceremonial graduation. You did a hospital corpsman oath. They tell you like this is the only enlisted corps in the Navy.
It's which
the
is
most decorated corps in the Navy.
Yeah.
You know, like
they go on and on about the corps because corpsmen have
Yeah.
a very they're the most decorated, and then they get competitive with like the Army medic
Got it.
and
yeah.
the Air Force PJ. Air Force PJ, right?
thanks.
Yeah,
I think so.
the
Parajumpers.
parajumpers, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is-
parajumpers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be like a big thing because I remember I worked with a guy. And he had like a parajumper tattoo or some shit. and then-
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
special forces.
But they're like special forces. You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they're medics.
I had a classmate that was a
Yeah.
whatever that is,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in
parajumper.
Parajumper. Yeah. Those guys are pretty.
But
gnarly,
he
though.
was he was like
Yeah.
100 push-ups in 30 seconds or
Yeah.
whatever the hell he did. He was one of those
Yeah.
guys.
PT
Yeah.
machines, just
yeah.
those alpha male dudes, dude.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, there's a lot of those. It's just
It's the whole military.
yeah. That would have been models in another world. They're just yoked up, veins on veins. You're like, damn, dude, why'd you join the Marines, dude? What you doing? Like gay porn right now, dude. Like, look at you.
I mean, it's good money. You know? That's what I
Better
hear.
money than here,
That's what I hear.
Yeah, that's the third option after infantry.
When you joined the Navy, was corpsman just like a job that you picked, or would you
It was a
assign that?
complete. I was the scumbag that I was before I joined the Navy. Just chose the first job that they gave. It was a time of war. It was 2005.
Yeah.
So it was like peak war. It was when he was already in Iraq. So I was trying to be anything that would send me to a ship and not do shit.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to use Google at the time, I guess. So they told me, you want to be a corpsman? And I was like, oh, sure. And yeah, they told me all the like ping pong balls popping
Yeah.
out of pussies in Thailand and
Like a
all this
first
cool
aid
stuff.
station,
Yeah,
yeah.
dude, awesome shit. And it wasn't, I mean, it,
Sweet.
yeah.
Yeah.
But at the hospital, I mean, it was like they described pretty much. And then once you go to sea duty, then you're like, damn, dude, like this is fucking different, dude. Like
Yeah.
this is not what I was told. This is not. I mean, easily
That's why you do the
Googleable. It's my own
hospital
fault.
first.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, I got sent to the hospital.
you in.
Even then, like even in boot camp, like you sign up for like a wish list of orders, and they send you to wherever they want. So you have like the smartest guy, #1 guy who wants to go to some school, a specialty school, surgical tech, X-ray tech, something. They send him to the grunts, and then they send me to a hospital to go wipe ass, for 2 years, So it's just corpsman does. You don't know where you're gonna get sent,
Right.
because it's just your recruiter tells
when
you
you-
one thing, and
Yeah, and when you enlist, you take the ASVAB, which is the
Yeah, I remember that in
aptitudes.
high school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
vocation, whatever.
Kind of suggests what job you can.
Yeah,
you should be
depending
doing
on
or whatever.
depending on your your grade,
Yeah.
you get into a category of jobs. So like, I think they told me I could either do air traffic control or corpsman, and I was like, how do you even put those two together? Like, I'm either gonna land planes or like plug holes in bodies. Like, all right, I don't know
Yeah.
like how my education level got me there, which was interesting.
You know what's funny though, because then we became MAC guys, and like that's like a combination
Yeah.
of like an air traffic controller
Yeah.
and a corpsman,
Yep.
basically.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fucking funny, man.
No, I signed up to be
Yeah.
military police at first. I was
No
like,
shit.
just because I was like, what's something a name recognition?
remember the
I'll be,
AT.
yeah, military police, whatever.
Chase BA.
And I was going in on a waiver. I had gotten arrested before I went to the Navy and stuff. So as it is, I was going in on a fucking waiver because if you have any kind of record, you have to do a waiver and stuff.
You got arrested and you
So-
wanted to be a cop?
I wanted to be a cop.
What are you like, blood in,
But
blood out?
they tell you, no, but
Paco?
that's how I knew that movie wasn't real, because you can't be a cop.
They lied
They
to
told
us.
me you can.
They lied to us.
Yeah,
SA.
you can treat injured people. You can treat this injured
you-
guy and give
so-
morphine, but you can't be a cop.
So you got busted, and they said you can go to the Navy or go to Pelican Bay. Go to Pelican Bay with your brother.
Yeah, I joined the Navy, and then I guess you could be a waiver and still be a corpsman and be in charge of people's lives, but you can't give people parking tickets. And I guess I don't know.
Wow.
How long were you guys in for?
5 years.
6 years for me.
5
yeah.
and 6.
You did 6?
2005, 2011. Yeah.
Isn't it a 5-year contract?
Yeah, I extended to go on my Afghanistan deployment. I was already in my window where I could have gone terminal leave and not gone and stuff. But at that point, you train up and you get to, you get
You wanna
close
do
to these
some
people.
shit. Yeah.
And
What was
you've
your
been
bonus?
doing
What was your
after-
bonus?
huh?
What was your bonus?
0. It was fucking 0, dude. Yeah,
You're
dude.
fucking crazy.
Really?
Yeah,
person.
dude. Yeah.
They didn't even pay
You,
for
you,
that?
I just
you
extended.
You extended without
No, I just wanted to go on a deployment, you know, because
Wow.
after Okinawa, it was me and maybe 3 corpsmen that were still from that deployment. So we were like the senior corpsmen. Not that we had combat fucking, you know, like knowledge, but we were just senior corpsmen. And then because we knew that we were going to Afghanistan next, we got sent like, 15, 20 boots, like boot-ass boots, you know, like that you had the mold
Fresh
and
out of
stuff.
boot
Fresh
camp.
out of boot camp, fresh out of course school with their own problems and issues and fucking, you know, like all the things you got to deal with. And I was just like, you know, and, you know, why leave now and stuff, you know, and I just wanted to go. And my best friend, Joe, he was in Iraq at the time, and he got sent from Iraq to our battalion to go to Afghanistan just because I mean, people love that battalion, like 3rd Battalion, 1st Marines. Like, I mean, it's a family to me.
I get what you're saying,
Yeah.
and like, but me and John are just like, I can think of a million reasons to leave now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I leave so fast, man. Sergio
I was having fun at the
Acosta,
time.
a real American hero
Oh,
there,
yeah.
doing it for the love of the country.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what
I
I'm
was
saying?
just
I did
scared
it
of
for the GI
I didn't want to
Bill,
find a
like-
job in the real world, pretty much. I was like, I
Jeez.
don't want to start applying for jobs. I'll just stick to this
Good
one.
man.
Do you guys still have close friends from those
Yeah.
units?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ernest, my friend Via, we were corpsmen together, and friend Joe Anderson, Daryl Sanguimi.
Jason Bowe lives with me.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Bo was another guy came and work with us at the Mac.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was funny. He wound up using his GI Bill, and he quit and just went back to school, like Rodney Dangerfield, bro.
Yeah.
Like 30-something,
Hey,
went
man.
back to UCSB, and he did theater.
Yeah.
So he's a
Hey,
play actor
attaboy.
now. Yeah, he's a play
Hey.
actor now.
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta go after your dreams.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what he's doing. He's going around and starring in plays and shit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fucking funny, man.
Yeah.
That's a trip. So you still see guys from your unit like once
yeah.
a year or something, or once every few years?
Yeah, I've been to a couple of reunions.
Yeah.
We've had them. You know, I the ones that I stick close to with, you know, they're the ones, like, I'd rather just hang out with them and talk to them. And
Yeah.
it's hard though sometimes because I got a lot of friends that I was really close with, and then
Right.
we kind of drifted apart because of life. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it happens.
It happens, man.
Yeah, but we, you know, it's like, oh, Facebook is where we.
Yeah, but it's like a family. It's like a family reunion. It's like when you haven't seen your cousin in forever,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh, what's up, dude?" And you just
Yeah.
go
Right
back to
back
the
to it.
old like
Oh, yeah.
jokes. And we had a bachelor party like 2 years ago, and it was a bunch of us that went from the deployment, and we hadn't seen each other in forever. And you just walk in and just start shooting the shit. You know, just start making jokes with each other, and it's just like it feels good because these guys have seen you on your worst. These guys. Like I know, you know, like I know why you're fucked up in the head, dude. So you can't
Yeah.
bullshit me.
You
can't
always have that
Yeah,
bond.
you know, like you
Yeah.
always have that bond with people and
Yeah.
stuff. So you know, it feels good because you got it with nobody else, you know, and
Yeah.
you miss that. You come home and then you know you have relationships, family, and stuff like that, and it's like, man, dude, like you felt more open sometimes with someone that you know you risk your life with. You know, it's like
Yeah.
it's some you know you get an emotional connection with these fuckers, you know, and then you come home and you miss it.
Yeah. No holds
Yeah.
bar kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, because you gotta know your whole history.
Yeah.
There's nothing but time. It's not all war. That's why. It's not all.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Fallujah probably more than me, honestly. You probably heard more gunshots than I did, you know, because Afghanistan was very just boring and then fucking crazy. Like,
Yeah.
it was just
Yeah.
back and forth.
Just
It was
depending what day it was.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it was
Yep.
just, and you never knew, and you know, you laced up your boots, and then you kind of, you know, people made jokes about getting blown up, and then you know, you're just like, damn, I could legit get blown up, you know, like
You never know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
John
just-
thought that when he stepped off the plane.
Yep.
Oh, it could get blown up right this
This is
second.
gonna be my day.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Although I was too hungover to really comprehend that, so
Glad you fucking guys survived and you made it. And
Yeah.
you're here now
yeah,
because you wound up affecting a lot more people too after you got here.
yeah.
Saved a lot of lives through Mac too.
Mac
you know what I
calls,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys get hooked up in Mac because of? Do you feel like you kind of gravitated toward this type of job? Like how did
I
you
had
wind
no
up in
idea
Mac?
what I was.
Yeah.
going to.
No,
Oh
so
no shit.
I swear to God, yeah.
I was married at the time. I didn't have a job. I had a kid on the way. I was living in like a freaking hippie commune that was always catching on fire. I was like, I got to get out of this place.
Should have been a fireman.
I
dude.
should, yeah. And I was trying to be. I was a frustrated fireman, right? Like I was the one that was during that freeze of like 2007, 2008.
John was on list.
I was on list. I
Oh,
was,
no shit.
Yeah, I was in New York at the time when I first got out. I went back to New York City and I started working as EMT over there, and then going through FDNY's process. And I was in backgrounds, and then I found out that LA made more money, and I was like, oh, I'm moving out to LA.
Yeah.
I was like, New York, you guys can eat it, man. Like, they're the old firefighters, right?
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
change for anything. I was like, LA seems to be on the up and up with like,
But they got bars.
but they got
connected.
bars. Yeah,
They got bars connected to the firehouses.
that's
out
true.
there,
They do.
so
They
shit.
do.
You know, it's a give and take.
It's a give and take, right?
All right.
But came out here and became a frustrated fireman that ended up at the MAC because it said they hired military corpsmen.
Only reason I applied.
Only
there.
place
I was
I saw.
on the
It does
county
say
website.
that in
It's
the
the
thing,
only
yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Only job I've ever seen that
Yeah.
says we will hire military corpsmen.
Yeah, my unemployment
Who
had ran
knew that?
out, so I
Yeah.
was like, oh shit, I gotta
Son
get a
of a
job
bitch.
now. Like
Yeah.
my post-Navy
Right.
unemployment, I was like,
Yeah.
oh fuck.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I applied to the MAC, it was just because it said military corpsman. I was like, we'll see what the fuck
It's like a
happens.
big
and-
orphanage for wayward
Yeah.
medical
Yeah.
professionals and shit. You know?
Come in, my
Yeah,
son.
like Father Flanagan
We've
is
got
our
you.
boss and takes care of us. Yeah. Oh, glad you guys came. Love
Thanks
you
for having
guys
us.
both.
Pleasure
This
too,
was a
man.
lot
Yeah,
of fun,
thanks for having me,
man. John Opalski, Sergio Acosta. If you guys want to plug anything or give your handles, people to follow you.
Honey
right
Captain
there.
on Facebook. I don't know.
Isn't that a great fucking handle?
If you see me on
Honey
Facebook,
Honey
block
Captain.
me.
He blocked me on Facebook.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, military memes are not the nicest ones.
Yeah, right. You can follow me at Ben9Humor, Ben number 9 Humor.
And you can follow me at Danny Gonzo34 on Instagram and Twitter.
Follow the podcast at PRC Pod. Catch us on Apple, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Stitcher. Like and subscribe, review, rate,
Please.
buy our shit. We
We
have
got
merch.
t-shirts.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We'll see
Thank
ya.
you guys.
All right.
All right.